Make another one of these, please. I keep watching these videos in order. I want a 6th one. Okay. Great vids, mate. Love the perspective and your passion, and well made, but please change the music from time to time. Tokyo Xtreme Racer Advance from 2005 by Crave Entertainment and David A. Palmer Productions is a handheld version of the home console street racing series, which captures the gameplay style reasonably well. Coming from the same developer as the Doom GBA port, it's no surprise that it's technically quite solid. The vehicle models are quite large and detailed, and the tracks are clear and decent. The draw distance is pretty bad, but it's good enough to be able to dodge traffic, and the frame rate is quite smooth. Tokyo Xtreme Racer Advance isn't going to blow anyone away, but it's solid and would have been fun to grind through back in the day. Raylight and DSi's 2003 release Wing Commander Prophecy is an attempt to faithfully port the PC's Wing Commander 5 to the GBA. As such, it's a game with a surprising amount of depth and detail to it, and it feels more complete than your average GBA game. It's not without its problems, but on a technical level this game is a huge achievement. Powered by the Blue Roses game engine, the countless polygonal spaceships are a marvel to see, especially with some of them being so massive. Things like the weapon effects and explosions tie it all together to create a remarkable and immensely detailed game. Shout out to Deja Voodoo Doll and Tanuki Suit for introducing me to this one. SSX3 is yet another handheld adaptation of a bigger game. Developed by Visual Impact and released by EA in 2003, this game sucks, but it's graphically quite ambitious. The character models are complex and the tracks are interesting to look at. Unfortunately, the gameplay doesn't do the visuals justice, nor does the frame rate, but it's worth mentioning for its ambition alone. I also want to mention the soundtrack because the songs have vocals in them and it sounds about as terrible as you might expect. My thanks go out to Pechka Productions for the suggestion. Look at this box art. I feel like this needs appreciation, so I'm gonna leave it in the corner of the screen while I talk about this game. I'd like you to keep in mind that this got approved and released, and people bought it. Released in 2002 by Cave Barn Studios and Telegames, Urban Yeti feels like a bunch of stoner programmers got together in a basement and made this in a night. Though it features some 3D elements, it's not especially impressive, but I wanted to find an excuse to talk about this game, and this is it. Urban Yeti tells the riveting tale of a Yeti trying to find a Yeti partner in a city, and to do this he has to play through some minigames and missions. The controls are sloppy, it's generally very glitchy, but this game gets a pass in my book simply on its dumb humor alone. Thanks to the Nocturnal for this life-changing experience. Anyway, going back to the theme of handheld versions of bigger games, 2004 saw the release of Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed by Destination Software and Pocketeers. It's a decent racer in the vein of something like Top Gear Rally. It looks pretty good, with the standout being the Porsche's fantastic car models, but unfortunately it can be quite hard to see where you're going as it's blurry in the distance because the resolution is way too low. But otherwise the tracks look okay. The car handling is exceptional for the GBA, sliding around corners feels great. Otherwise this game is fairly bland, but it's definitely worth a mention here. Shout out to your boy Deku Powell for this one. I think I want to end this series here. We had a good run. Besides, I can't make a title much worse than this one, so it seems like a nice place to stop. To celebrate, I'm going to rank my top 5 favorites from the games I've looked at so far. This isn't the most impressive ones, just the ones that I enjoyed the most. It's my top 5 games from my 5 3D GBA games videos. 5th is LEGO Drome Racers, which was a solid racing game. 4th is Top Gear Rally, which was also a solid racing game, but it's kinda just there because I had it as a kid. 3rd is Moto Racer Advance because it was a solid racing game, and 2nd goes to V-Rally 3 because it was an especially solid racing game. 1st goes to Stuntman, not because it's a racing game, it's not, but because it's a solid driving game. It's short, sweet, challenging, and mixes up its locations before they ever get boring. Now, I'm not sure if you noticed, but every game on this list involves driving. I find the controls for games in other genres, particularly first-person shooters, just sort of suck because they're so limited. They're fine for racing games though, and that's why racing games are usually much more successful. Except for Street Racing Syndicate, of course. That game is terrible.